Welcome to the Archie Real Estate Podcast, where we keep real estate simple for the new realtor, investor, or client. And now, your host, Muhammad Archie.
What's up, my people? Welcome back to Archie Real Estate Podcast. So I know I told y'all that this podcast is going to be about a little bit more than just real estate. I said that, and I haven't delivered on that so far. But today we start new to fresh today. So we have my first business outside of real estate that'll be on today. We're going to get into that a little bit and kind of discuss who they are, what they're about, what is their business. Their business does kind of entail real estate because I guess it's in a building, so it does kind of entail real estate. Everything. I tell people that all the time, like, real estate is everything, and people don't believe me, but it is. So we're going to get into that. I guess my message for today, I was talking about 10 things that I've learned in my 10 years in real estate. Today's message isn't really about real estate. Today's message is more about timing. Is there ever really a right time to do something? I don't think so. I don't believe so. And that's why you have to jump into things and do them as they come, which is what my next guest has done. So without further ado, I'm allowing my guests to introduce themselves. And here we go.
Hi, my name is Sabrena Elmarzouky Archie, the proud wife of Mr. Muhammad Archie here. I am the owner of the new Queen's Cafe in Why Missing. Thank you for having me as your first non-real estate guest.
Wait a second. Okay.
You in trouble, bro.
That's it. Show's over. Yeah. All right. So, yes, today's guest is the lovely Sabrena Elmarzouky, Queen's Cafe. A round of applause. All right. So, let's jump into this. She did mention that she is the wife of the podcast host. So, it's going to be a little different. All right. So, my first non-real estate guest is an entrepreneur. And how long would you say you've been an entrepreneur?
I think I've had an entrepreneurial spirit probably my whole life, myself. So I just recently opened my own spot, so fairly new. But previously, I was managing Queen City Family Restaurant for my dad. He was the proud owner of that establishment, and I was able to manage and run the day-to-day operations for 12 years. So from 2012 up until he sold in 2021.
Okay, so let's rewind this. You ran the business operations. First off, who's your dad?
My dad, his name is Elmarzouky.
Okay. Where was Queen City?
Queen City was located on Lancaster Avenue.
In Reading, Pennsylvania. Yeah, see, I have a very broad audience.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me.
I got to make sure that everyone knows what's going on and where it's happening.
Bad.
But so what was that like? 12 years of running the day-to-day business of a business that your father owns. Give me a little bit of what that was like.
So it was great. The beginning part was a little tough. I was very young going into it and with not much experience. But I had the guidance of my dad, and I knew that I was going to be able to learn from him what I needed to know to then kind of put my own touch on things. And so he was my direct mentor. However, I did have some personal one-on-one coaches that were able to help and guide relationship of father-daughter into boss-employee style.
Different dynamics.
Very different.
Okay. So you did that for 12 years. First off, Elmarzouky. Elmarzouky. How often do you have people mispronounce that? Are they better with it now?
I think now they're better with it just because the name has been around for a little while. I do occasionally get people who are like, how do you say that? How do you pronounce it? How do you spell that? But when you break it down, it's spelled exactly how it sounds. Elmarzouky.
Okay.
So.
I just learned today.
Yeah. Elmarzouky.
Welcome to the club.
Yes. It's really not that difficult. Elmarzouky. Got it. Where's that name originate from?
my personal name is originated from Egypt. So my dad is Egyptian and my mom is American, but my last name is my dad's last name, which originates from Egypt.
So you spent time in Egypt. Like, I don't know the answers to these questions.
I mean,
For my audience. So what was your upbringing like? Did you spend time in Egypt or?
I did. So predominantly most of my upbringing was in Egypt. I was born in Reading, Pennsylvania, and I lived here until I was about 8 years old, and then we moved, meaning my mom and my siblings, we moved to Egypt while my dad remained back here in Reading to run and operate the restaurants that he had at the time. And so I was in Egypt from grade 3 up until my senior year in high school, graduated high school in Egypt, and then came back to the States here for college, and I went to Kutztown University.
What are some of the main differences between Egypt and America?
There's a lot of differences, yet there's a lot of similarities. So I'd say now there's definitely a lot more similarities just as far as, stores, what you have access to, clothing, cultures have crossed a little bit, but ultimately I'd say a lot of the differences that there are would be food. At the time, definitely clothing. Not that I had to walk around fully covered, just modest clothing. I went to a private American school, so I wouldn't say that my schooling was too different than what would have been here. But I was exposed to a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures. My dad is from a very small village called Belbès. He grew up in a poor family, but I went to school, this private school with some really wealthy families, and I think ultimately it's helped me understand life, and it's helped me be able to go back and forth between talking with all different sorts of people and kind of connecting with them and understanding, and really just being able to appreciate where people are coming from.
Nice. I like that. So that's good to know. Let's pivot a little bit to the current time. So you mentioned you have Queen's Cafe. Mm-hmm. What is Queen's Cafe?
Queen's Cafe is a small local eatery. It is inside the Riverfront Federal Credit Union building on Kaiser Boulevard. So it's a much smaller scale than what I'm typically used to. However, it's what I've always wanted. Something very intimate. I definitely want to remain involved in the community. And I'm looking to serve people of all walks of life and be able to showcase fresh foods, and hopefully in the near future be able to implement foods from my culture and some of the cultures that are displayed by some of my staff.
And beef bacon.
And beef bacon.
It's beef bacon.
Yes.
It's beef bacon. So how did this come about? How did you get into thinking about Queen City? Oh, Queen City, look at me. Queen's Cafe. How did you get into... Was it a thought? Was it something? You said it's something you always wanted to do, but when did you say, okay, let's do it?
When I was told I couldn't do it.
Okay.
So once my dad decided to sell Queen City, I took about 2.5 years off, almost 3 years of just like everyday working in an establishment. I stayed involved in real estate, behind the scenes with you, and kind of fixed up some houses together. And, but I knew that there was something that I really wanted to do that I couldn't put my finger on it. I met with a lot of women in our community that it really, really helped me kind of just put my thoughts on paper and help me understand that I can do whatever I put my mind to. And I was having lunch with a really good friend of mine, a mentor, Megan Kerber, and she was just like, what is it that you want to do? What will bring you happiness? And at the time I was actually having breakfast with her at a local restaurant as well. And kind of, I think his story is a little similar to going from diner life to their own smaller establishment on like kind of a bump up scale. And I was like, I want something similar to this, something of my own, something that is on a smaller scale, yet very involved in the community. And she just was like, you know what? I think I might have a spot that kind of has your name on it. And I was like, okay, well, let's check it out. And then we went over to the building, and I pulled up, and I was like, in a bank, like, this is interesting. This is so different. Like, this isn't necessarily mine. So all these thoughts are going in my head before I even get to see it or meet the owner of the building and the credit union. And I walk in, and it's just this beautiful space that is already prepared basically to come and start a business right away. And I thought it was just the storefront part. And I was like, I don't know, I'm really looking to bring a cook with me and serve like good food, fresh food. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And she was like, well, this isn't the only part of this space. There's a kitchen. And so when I walked into the kitchen, I mean, they designed that beautifully. And once I met with Tim, who is the owner of the building and the credit union, it just solidified everything for me. And he was extremely, extremely, extremely supportive of bringing me as a person into the space, not necessarily my business idea, but, he seemed invested of helping me succeed in what I was interested in. So that's kind of the development of the idea that it came about. And I guess shortly after that, I think we were pregnant at that point, where we were making decisions.
Were we?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we were. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure we were. It's all a blur. It really is. Time moved very quickly. But, I had the doubts of, okay, well, we're about to have 2 babies on top of our 2.5-year-old. Is this something that I'm able to do? Am I going to be, full-time here? How am I going to balance this and that? And again, with help of, encouragement, obviously, from you and people around me, it just kind of made things really clear that I would be the best mom with doing what I'm passionate about. And I think it's been made clear in just the 11 weeks that I've been doing this. It does. Yeah. They do look like they're 11 months. Yeah. The 11 weeks that I've been doing this simultaneously as having the twins, that I feel refreshed, I feel awakened, I feel like I'm giving them the best me that I can give them.
So let's clarify with everyone that doesn't know exactly the timeline here. So when you first initially went to the bank, you were probably about 3-4 months pregnant when you first saw the space. I don't think we were even that far along, because I don't think I knew we were having twins at the time. Okay. We'll have to tell that story too, the twin story. Yeah, we'll get into that. That was interesting. But okay, so we're earlier along in the pregnancy. You check out the space. You think about it. Time goes on. You opened up. What date?
February 20th of 2024.
And we had twins when? I know. I'm just asking.
February 25th of 2024.
So that's 5 days.
5 days.
So you literally opened up the restaurant 5 days before you had twin boys.
I did. I did think that I was going to have at least 2 weeks. I was 27 and a half weeks before my water broke. So I was under the impression, they're going to hang in there till I'm at least 40 weeks. Obviously, that did not happen.
It didn't work out that way. How did you feel about that? Were you like, oh shit, what am I going to do? I don't know. Like,
with what?
With them coming
5 days before the business. Yeah. So I didn't feel that way. I only felt that way in the sense of I didn't get to show my lead how to close up the cafe. I didn't get to show my cook specifically the amount of food that should be. These kinds of things were like the worry of me, but I didn't really think it was going to be the end all be all. Like, I'm going to have these babies and my cafe is going to close. I knew that the people that I brought in place were going to be outside of my skill set, were going to be the reason I succeed. I brought specific people. Mind you, I have 2 staff members, and those 2 staff members were chosen specifically for my working style and their working style, and how we mutually respect each other, and how we all want to be able to succeed in something that, yes, is mine by name, but it's theirs with ownership, as far as me showcasing their food, me showcasing their personalities, not having to necessarily be the upfront person you're seeing. I like to put people where I believe they will thrive in.
So it's a bit of a different business model than what you're used to dealing with in the diner industry. And
yes.
Can you, in what kind of ways?
It is mine as a sense of I own the business, but it is my staff members that also belong to. It is their name as well. Customers see my staff more than they probably see me. They are welcomed by my staff more than they're welcomed by me. I think hospitality is everything. That is something I definitely learned in the diner industry is, the more you are outgoing and welcoming and, smiling and attentive, these are things that will continuously bring you back people. Being a smaller scale, 2 staff members, you're very intimate. You have a very intimate relationship with your customers. And I think my goal is to allow my staff to shine. Like, I have no problem with people assuming, somebody else is the owner of the cafe, where they're like, "Oh, do you own this?" And they're like, "No, this is Sabrena's space." But to me, that means they have a sense of ownership, that they feel like they can be themselves, they can really welcome you and be proud of where they're working.
Nice. Okay, we'll take a little break and we'll come back. We'll get into some financial stuff. Are you ready? Okay, great. We'll be back.
Hey guys, it's Sabrina. You may remember me from the old Queen City restaurant. And yes, I know how much you've missed our food. Well, I'd like to welcome you to my new eatery, the all-new Queen's Cafe, located at 2609 Kaiser Boulevard, inside of the Riverfront Federal Credit Union building in Wyomissing. I invite you to come in and enjoy breakfast, lunch, and pastries, where we use the freshest ingredients with an inviting atmosphere. Whether you are dining alone or have a business meeting, Queen's Cafe is here to serve you with comfortable seating, Wi-Fi, fresh coffee and espresso, pastries, and everything in between. You can dine in or call ahead for takeout. Check out our menu online at queenscafereading.com or give us a call at 484-251-8890. We're open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Queen's Cafe, where we serve you fresh meals using fresh and locally sourced ingredients.
You got to pay the cost to be the boss. I always repeat these quotes that I've heard throughout life. I'm just like, damn, ain't that the truth though? So, okay. How do you finance this monster of yours? What was the financing like? Did you need $1 million? Like what?
I didn't need $1 million, but that came from the space. So I didn't need $1 million because the space was there, meaning my tables and chairs were there, my equipment was there, my grill, my fryer, literally it was turnkey ready for me to go in, add my touch to it, artwork, paintings, just like add Sabrena flair to it, but everything else was there. So yes, it's something that could have cost $1 million. However, the space was exactly what I was looking for, was praying for really, because I was like, how am I going to finance something of my own that's just a blank space? I have to get everything. I got to get tables, all the things that I just listed that was in there. But not only that, now I have to get my staff, pay insurance, pay rent, pay electric, pay all the things that, come along with being the boss of a business.
Disclaimer. Ooh. It's been a while.
Here it comes.
I am a realtor. Don't forget that. I'm a licensed realtor. I've seen these properties you were talking about, some of them. And some of them didn't have the kitchen. You had to add a kitchen. You had to update. You had to do this. You had to do that. So I know what you mean. I was kind of part of the process in the back, but okay. We'll get back to that. Okay, go ahead. So you didn't need $1 million.
I did not, but I did need money.
Okay.
Money that I didn't necessarily have on hand. Money that I was like, oh shit, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? I'm about to have 2 more kids on top of the baby that we already have. What am I doing? What am I thinking? And I got blessed by an angel that decided that they wanted to do an investment in me as a person and on the business. Wasn't anything astronomical, but it was definitely what I needed to start. And without that person, we would not have Queen's Cafe probably. And I am forever grateful for that opportunity that they gave me. So
Nice.
yeah.
So you have one space and you're operating this space, and it's different because you own this space. It's on your shoulders. So you got to pay the rent. You got to pay the bills. How different does that feel knowing before at your previous stop you had someone that was, you were paying them, but, the business was paying. How different is that?
It's scary. I mean, it's new business. I'm very fortunate with the support that I've gotten already, but at the same time, there are days that I'm like, oh my God, why did I do this again? Those thoughts are still very much at the forefront of my brain, but I know that as long as you put the work in and you are serving the people fresh food, your staff is, everything that you would like them to be, you'll be okay. Sometimes it might be tough. Sometimes, you're not taking a pay cut. You're not taking a salary as a boss. My priority really is my staff and the community that I'm serving. It's not myself at this point. I really am doing this because I love it. As crazy as that sounds, being in the restaurant business, you hear all sorts of crazy stories, but I truly love what I'm doing. I truly love the scale that I'm at. I was pleasantly surprised at the amount of support that I've received from our community. Why
would you be surprised by that?
I don't know. I think, we're our hardest critics. You don't think people are supporting you. You think like, oh, they only liked me because I was over there doing work for my dad who created his name. He was in business for 31 years. They only talked to me for those reasons. And when I sent out messages for my soft opening, and not a single soul that I sent the invite to, every single one showed up. And I think that to me was the seal for you made the right choice, and you have a backing of people to support you. Managing and operating Queen City, I always had, my dad always had my back. I knew that the finances weren't an issue. He had bought that building. There was no mortgage. Overhead was low. He did his damn thing. He definitely did. And, he taught me everything that I do know, and not discrediting what I bring to the table, but I do have to give credit where credit is due. And my success would not have happened without the opportunity I was given there.
Sometimes it's what we all need.
Yes.
So I met your 3 kids.
Did you meet them? What did you think?
They're nice. They're nice kids. Nice children. Where are they? I'm sure we were both here. Everybody's like, where the hell are the kids at?
I know. That is actually probably one of the most questions that are asked every day, and I can't say that I don't have help. I have help. And I think that's just what life is. You need to ask for help when you need it. And yes, I have kids, but that doesn't mean I can't do other things. Yes, I'm a mom. Yes, they're new to life, but I am there for them. I am bringing them to the cafe occasionally. My daughter goes to an amazing school right now. She loves it. They love her. When she's not there, she's with me at the cafe. She's enjoying it. She's already learning. It's really cute to watch her there. And the twins typically are at our house with our babysitter. And if they're not there, they're with my mom or they're at the cafe with us.
Great.
Yeah, so we make it work. We call the people. We ask for the hand when we need it.
I mean, having the right village is necessary. People always say, it takes a village, it takes a village. It takes the right village. And that right village could be one or two people, honestly. And really, when you have the right people helping out, it just makes it so much easier. Because I say to you all the time, I don't know what the hell we would do.
Oh, for sure.
If we had to have these kids all the time, because
if we had
it
to
sounds
take care
crazy.
of our
I'm
kids
sorry.
by
It
ourselves.
sounds ridiculous, but I'm just saying,
No, I think what's one thing about us if we try to keep things real between the two of us and how we do things. And truthfully, a year and a half into being a new mom with Aria, I was like, oh my gosh, being home 24/7 is not me. It's not who I am. And I'm starting to kind of feel like I'm losing myself. And not that I was, but I was used to being
kind of like, Sabrena, you got to go do something.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You're like, this isn't you. You're a upfront kind of person in front of people. You're very social. And I wasn't. I really had Aria, and basically, I was out at different events and stuff like that. But you go from operating a diner 24/7 to being home with a beautiful baby, but it's just not, my life's only purpose.
So what kind of advice would you give to a female that's in your position that's thinking about doing something, and they're like, either they're told not to do it, or they're told they can't do it, or the timing's not right, or what would you say to them?
Fight all of that. Just do it. Just do it. I mean, really, if you're thinking about it, it's probably the right thought, most likely. If you have the right support, if all the stars have to align. You can take the leap of faith, but the stars aligned for me. I lost touch with the cook that I have. We rekindled our, we got back onto touch base with each other. The staff member I have, she was like, I want to work for you. And the space. So, and then the investor, because all of those things happened. And then I was like, okay, now they're here. Now I have no money that I want to invest into this. What do I do? And then that happened. So I say to everybody, stars should align, take the leap of faith. And you're going to have a bunch of haters. They're going to hate. They're going to be jealous.
You'll have a lot of those.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't.
Yeah, I got a few.
But I highly, highly advise to follow your dreams. Do what you can. It doesn't matter that you have kids. You can make it work. There's plenty of support out there. There's, opportunities for everybody. Just take the leap of faith and just do it.
We kind of did the same thing, I think. Because I remember when I was talking to you about, I was like, I got to get out of this place. I'm leaving in January.
But you were there for
11 years of this. Same time you're at your previous establishment. I was like, I gotta go. It's scary. It still is. Sometimes I wake up in the morning like, what the hell am I doing? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was, but also yours was a secured job that, paid for the insurance,
401k, all
everything.
That sweet stuff. Yeah.
So it was like, being entrepreneurial is different. Like when you're kind of coming from that, you really took the leap of faith that was like, hey, real estate is taking off and I'm going to believe in that. And, I'm going to be able to provide for us. So I'm going to do it. And you, at the same time, like I did, had haters in the corner that were like, what are you doing? You can't leave this job. You got to punch in and punch out. And how are you going to do this? And how are you going to do that? But we had faith.
You figure it out.
You do.
And so far, we've been figuring it out. So, tell me what you anticipate happening at your cafe. Do you have any events coming up? Anything new in the works that you'd like to implement? What do you have going on?
So we do. We actually have our ribbon cutting grand opening ceremony May 31st, 2024. I also have our first Paint and Sip, which is Unwine and Design, the name of the business. And she's coming. She's my best friend who owns this business. Her name is Emily, and she's going to be doing the painting, instructing step by step. And I plan to host different food tasting events, different opportunities. So I don't want to be just a cafe. I want to be a space where people can come and experience other things. I'm looking to host yoga classes in the morning, maybe super early. So maybe a 5:30 or a 6 o'clock for like 45 minutes. It's much quieter in the morning. So my building is very supportive of me being successful in any capacity that I see fit for myself. So stay tuned. There are hopefully a lot of fun things and a lot of opportunities coming from Queen's Cafe.
So we got the ribbon cutting May 31st. Is that all day, or what is that?
It is an all-day event. From 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll have a completely separate menu than what I actually offer every day. I really like to experiment with different kinds of food, so hopefully we'll have a really good selection of specialties for you. But the actual ribbon cutting is at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. May 31st. Be there. Got it. All right. We'll be back to wrap this thing up with some more. We got a few more good questions. We'll be back. So you can't really be, in my opinion anyway, I can't be a podcaster without listening to other podcasts. And there's one podcast in particular I listen to that they asked this question, and I actually like it. The podcast is All the Smoke.
That's the name of the podcast?
That's the name of the podcast.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a basketball podcast.
What's it called?
All the Smoke.
Oh, okay.
It's a basketball podcast, though, I promise you. The question they ask is, if you could have one person on the show, right, who would it be? Mm-hmm. But after you ask this question, you have to help to get that person on the show. So who would be one person you have on the show, and when will we have them on?
On your show?
On my show.
Shouldn't you be asking yourself that question?
No, I'm asking you as a guest. Who do you think would be good in that seat?
Well, are we kind of going in the real estate direction?
I mean, I've opened it up a tad, so.
Well, there's one person, and I don't know how she'd feel about it, because she's kind of silent in some of the things she does.
Okay.
But she's been so supportive of me in so many different ways. I could list a bunch of people I think would be great for your podcast, but I think Shannon would be really good.
Shannon?
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give the last name.
I know who you're talking about. Okay.
But I think she would be really good.
She would.
I think
I don't think it would be like pulling teeth. No. Shannon would come and talk.
I don't know. I mean, she's pretty... she's exclusive, so I think she would.
Exclusive.
It is
Let's work on getting her on
exclusive.
here. I think as long as we have like, I know she don't like germs. So I know we would have to have like a lot of hand sanitizer and all that stuff on hand. But I got her. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think she would be great.
I think Shannon would be
great for this whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, I think she'd be really good.
I like that. So you'll reach out and you'll tell her to come on the podcast.
Of course.
That's your job. I said if you guys get the person here. So,
okay. I got it.
All right.
Associate producer.
Yep. Another question.
Mm-hmm.
I ask all my guests this. Do you consider yourself successful? If you do, why? And if you do not, why not?
I do. I think I'm successful. I am married for 11 years. We've been married almost 11 years.
Yeah.
September. That is beautiful. That's successful. We have 3 beautiful children. They are amazing, thank God. That makes me feel successful as being a mom. And I opened my own business. I feel like my cup is overflowing right now of joy and just blessings. So to me, success isn't money. You know, I've said that to you a million times. Obviously, your money, it's not going to hurt.
It helps.
It helps a lot. But as far as the blessings from above. I see them around me all the time. I have my 2 parents, I have siblings, I have you, I have your family, our family. So yeah, we have our community that supports us. So I truly believe we are successful. So yes, I do believe I'm successful.
Okay. And lastly, where can they find you? Other than Queen's Cafe, are you on Facebook, or can they call you? Don't give your cell phone number out. But
yes, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can email me. You can contact me at the cafe. I'm very easily accessible.
Do you see franchising in your future?
Oh.
I'd be trying to plant the seeds.
No.
Why not?
So actually, somebody had asked me that today. They asked if I would be, they said that the cafe and what I was bringing to the table and the service that I was offering and the food that I was serving is franchisable.
And it can be duplicated.
It can. Clearly, you've said that it's just not something that I am personally into as much as you plant the seed, as much as people plant the seed. I really, really like being small. I like, my plate is full. Yes, I can handle more, but I really like the idea of a one place right now. Maybe, in the future, way down the line, but right now, I'm really happy with one place.
So in the future?
No.
Is what I heard.
I said maybe.
Hey, Tim. Let's talk to Tim and see what Tim has to say about that.
Tim's going to have to build cafes in all his branches.
There's room.
There is room.
So,
No, I've had a lot of people, and I shouldn't say a lot of people, a handful of people that have requested or at least suggested, hey, did you think about this? There's 1 or 2 cafe spaces that are open and available right now, and right now is not the time.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And there you have it. Today's guest, my lovely wife, Sabrena Elmarzouky Archie. Thank you. And we'll see you back at the Archie Real Estate Podcast. Visit Queen's Cafe, by the way. You may be lucky enough to see me there, or my kids. How about that? See you later. Thanks for watching or listening to the Archie Real Estate Podcast. You can find me on YouTube at the Archie Real Estate Podcast. You can find me on Facebook as well, Muhammad Archie. Email me if you have any questions, comments, concerns, marchie@archierealtor.com. Shoot me a text, 484-338-3406. That's my phone number, direct. Shoot me a text. Got any questions, let me know. I hope to see you on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Archie Real Estate Podcast, and we thank you for listening. Email Archie directly at marchie@archierealtor.com with any questions. If you are ready to begin your real estate search, visit archierealtor.com. See you on the next episode.